Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, Mofan was somehow able to awaken two rare talents, but kept it a secret until he had to use them in a difficult duel. He is eventually forced to move to another city where he would shockingly awaken another two talents. Mofan and his teacher would then have to run away with the mythical snake as they are hunted by a group of mages. The story continues as Zhang tries to show General Ming the large number of demonic white eagles approaching their base. He thinks they should sound the alarms, but Ming reminds him that the Western Wall has always been peaceful and those birds have not attacked in decades. Elsewhere, it is explained that the disease is spreading rapidly, and that once contracted, people only have 7 days before they die. A high-ranking healing mage reveals that healing magic has no effect on it. Lu Meng uses this opportunity to blame the mythical snake, and Mr. Lu says that people will riot if news of its existence continues to spread. Zhang asks that they be patient so he can investigate, and explains that he will ask Miss Tang to get a sample so that he can run some tests. Zhu Meng vows to kill the snake, and Zhang says that it is exactly why he hides it from him. However, Zhu Meng reveals that it's too late. He already knows they are hiding in Bai Village. We then see that Bai Village is in worse shape than ever. In order to prevent the spread of the disease, residents are no longer allowed to leave. Mofan understands that things will only get worse if the snake is really the cause, and they decide they must find a way to leave. Mofan asks if she can just use her position in the Magic Association to get out, but she knows that Zhu Meng has surely issued her arrest. Mofan figures that the only way is to use force, and calls on Wolfie to get them out. Afterwards, a couple guards discuss how they can't go after them, as high-tier mages will easily be detected, and that low-level interns are already in pursuit. They know that the boy accompanying Miss Tang is only a mid-tier, and are certain that he will be no match for their interns. In a nearby field, we see that a plant element mage has stopped Wolfie's movement, and it becomes clear to Miss Tang that whoever it is just trying to buy some time. Mofan wants to burn down the entire field to save Wolfie, but they come up with a more strategic plan. Miss Tang creates a distraction with shadow magic while Mofan finds the mage behind the attack. He quickly finds her and states how much of a shame it is that such a cute girl has to be his enemy, as he traps her. Wolfie is injured, so they must continue on foot, and Miss Tang reminds Mofan to not underestimate the interns. They are elite and each have their own specialization. Later, their quest is paused when they spot more interns. They are not high-tier mages, but are heavily equipped with very expensive magical items. Miss Tang plans to take the two on the bird and will leave the one with wings to Mofan. This just gets him hyped up since Mofan has always hated guys that flaunted their wealth. We see that one of the interns is told by Mr. Lu that their only mission is to prevent them from entering Bai Mountain, but the man with the wings is too eager. He explains if they capture them now, then they can end the entire mission themselves. His name is Dongfang, and he appears before Mofan. Dongfang recommends Mofan give up since he never holds back. Dongfang thinks they're quitting the fight when Miss Tang takes a step back, but Mofan confidently remarks he only needs 15 minutes to defeat Dongfang all by himself. Their fight begins and Mofan realizes that Dongfang's flames are not ordinary. They are the flames of a high-grade spirit seed, and they remove shadows so Mofan can't use shadow magic. Mofan uses the flames of his own spirit seed, but Dongfang points out that it's only the ignite spell, a spell only for beginners. What Dongfang doesn't know is that Mofan has developed it all the way up to level 4, and he will be the first to get a taste of it. Dongfang puts on some armor and continues to taunt Mofan, but the armor is immediately destroyed. He tries to escape through the air, but Mofan reveals that he can control that area as well when he unleashes a lightning attack. Nearby, Miss Tang is outnumbered and eventually captured. However, Mofan appears and immediately recognizes the man named Lin that had been bothering his sister. Mofan realizes that he must have been too soft on him before and is surprised to see that he has once again touched someone close to him. Mofan keeps his promise to beat him every time he sees him. Lin's brother attempts to rescue him, but an attack from Miss Tang makes them realize that they are no match for the pair. They would later be shamed by their general, and Dongfang promises to make Mofan pay the next time they meet. Sometime later, Mofan and Miss Tang arrive atop a mountain, and she releases the mystical snake as it has almost run out of life energy. Mofan hesitantly mounts the beast, and Miss Tang explains that the snake allows him to because it is grateful for Mofan's help. She asks that he hold on tight, and they make their way to a nearby cave. On the way there, Mofan notices a large number of white demon eagles and wonders where they are going. Once in the cave, she asks that the snake give her a sample of its blood, and she explains that they will use it to create an antidote in case the snake really is the cause of the disease. Mofan points out that if the antidote works, then it will prove that the snake is at fault. But Miss Tang believes she must do what's right. Hopefully everyone will be cured and she will protect the snake if she has to. She asks that they go their separate ways so she can face the blame on her own, but Mofan refuses. He says that they will save Song City together and then protect the mystical snake together as well. Later, the two arrive to deliver the snake's blood, and despite Zong's objections, are immediately arrested. Moments later, Heiyu arrives to reveal that the western fortress has been attacked by white demon eagles, and they are making their way to Song City. Zumang can't understand why these peaceful birds have decided to attack now, and Zong decides to call an emergency meeting with the heads of the association. At the western fortress, it is explained that their tame birds are no longer responding to orders out of fear. Their birds come from the same clan and share blood with the demon eagles. The tamer reveals that their lack of cooperation isn't even the worst case scenario. Just as he is explaining this, we see that their celestial birds have begun to rebel against them, dismounting the soldiers and killing them. The tamer explains that their behavior is an indicator that a monarch-level eagle is approaching, and they need to kill every one of their birds before it gets worse. The order is issued, and mages begin to kill their beasts. Elsewhere, Zhang spends some quality time with Huey, who seems to really enjoy the song he plays. They head towards the fortress after hearing explosions, and Zhang is told to take shelter. When he attempts to take Huey with him, he is told about the order to execute all celestial birds. Zhang refuses to obey the order, and the guard points out how selfish it would be to put everyone else in danger just to save a stupid bird. Zhang doesn't care about his opinion though, and defends Huey when it's attacked. Zhang is prepared to accept the consequences and tells Huey to flee to safety. Elsewhere, it is revealed that the antidote created is only able to slow the disease, but they will need the snake's bile to make a cure. Zumeng says that's all the proof they need to blame the snake, and they bring Miss Tang to the meeting. Zumeng pleads to her about bringing the snake to them. He says that the disease coupled with the demon eagle attack will only fill Song City with corpses. He promises that if the mythical snake cooperates, then they will not kill it. She asks where they are keeping Mofan and only agrees to bring the snake there. Later that night, Zhang is in prison for defying orders and is surprised to see Mofan. Zhang doesn't know anything about the plague and Mofan is unaware of the bird attack, so they exchange information. Nearby, Miss Tang performs the ritual that will bring the snake. Mofan can feel the beast calling to him, but he knows that it wouldn't come back since it surely hasn't had enough time to finish shedding. Mofan realizes something must be going on and decides to leave. Zhang declines Mofan's invite as he is in enough trouble as it is. Mofan arrives just as the ritual ends and the mythical snake has returned. Mr. Liu points out that it hasn't completed shedding and must still be in a state of weakness. Zumeng immediately makes the order to attack the snake. Miss Tang looks to Mr. Liu for help, but he reveals his true self. He states that she has done wonderfully, but must now leave the job of killing the beast to them. Mofan can't believe the number of high-rank mages that they have gathered, and can only watch as they activate the lightning punishment formation. It is the expert tier magic of the lightning element, and its power can restrain even commander-level beings. The beast is clearly in pain, and Miss Tang begs them to stop. Zumeng doesn't care though, and turns to the crowd that has formed. He explains that this creature is what has caused the plague, and makes sure that everyone knows he will be the one to stop it. His speech works as everyone begins to chant for its death. Miss Tang tries to explain that the mythical snake has actually always protected the city. It's too late, her cries are drowned out by their calls to kill it. Mofan must be held back and told that it's not his time yet. Miss Tang apologizes to her cherished beast for bringing it back in its weakest state, knowing that it only did it for her. Mofan realizes that the beast must have been alerting him, and Mr. Liu points out that it seems to be breaking free. The mages attack more fiercely, but Mofan realizes that it isn't trying to run away. Instead of raging out of control like a typical beast, it had used its remaining strength to comfort Miss Tang. Zumeng wants to use the opportunity to continue killing it, but is told that the situation with the birds has become much worse since a monarch-level eagle has joined the fight. Mr. Liu says that they should finish up here first, but it's explained that killing the snake will take too long. The magic spell has already restricted it from escaping and they can come back later, so Zumeng decides to send the troops to the fortress. Mofan speaks with someone there who explains that if they really want to help Miss Tang, then they need to clear the mythical snake of its charges. Mofan thinks that the snake can't be the cause of the disease since its blood doesn't cure it. He thinks about how the plague started in Bai City, and the woman explains the findings of an investigation she did on the first two cases. The people involved both had blood transfusions, and the blood came from Bai Village. Mofan decides to go there, and he remembers that this woman is Ling Ling's older sister. She agrees to inform her sister and requests that she meet Mofan in Bai Village. Mofan then asks that she watch over Miss Tang, as he has never seen her so hopeless. Later, Mofan meets with Ling Ling, and the two get reacquainted. They head to a nearby blood storage facility where blood serums are kept. Ling Ling explains that blood serums increase the ability to produce new blood tenfold, and they are used on soldiers who have sustained heavy injuries. However, someone seemed to have contaminated a batch. Using disguises, they sneak in and find some blood to take as samples. However, they must hide as a general arrives demanding blood to help at the front lines. The employee claims that there is no blood in those cases, and Mofan wonders why the guy would lie, since there is clearly blood inside. The man says that he is just doing his job, but the general pushes past him and takes the blood anyway. The man explains that he will notify his supervisor, Wang Yi. Mofan makes a call to Ling Ling's sister, who explains that he is a member of the Magic Association. Back at the fortress, we see that the battle against the demonic birds rages on. Mofan and Ling Ling arrive as they followed the general who took the batch of blood. After witnessing a group of demonic birds get decimated, they continue their search. Mofan finds the empty case but must hide when they hear the general explain that the birds have retreated. They haven't returned to their nest though and are most likely preparing for their next attack. Ling Ling reveals that she actually managed to retrieve one of the bags of blood, using some clever tricks. However, before she can analyze it, they hear Supervisor Wang Yi arrive outside. He demands that they return the blood and becomes absolutely enraged when the general explains that they have already used it all. He explains to his subordinate that he must report back to Mr. Liu, and Mofan decides to follow him. However, Ling Ling proves to be useful as always when she reveals that she attached a microphone onto him. At the lake, Miss Tang assures the beast that she won't leave his side, and hopes that Mofan hurries since the great snake won't hold out much longer. At the hospital, it is explained that the venom in the snake's blood doesn't match that of the infected, and it becomes more clear that the snake may not be the cause. Mr. Liu arrives to assure the patients that they will kill the snake soon, and some of them think that those that worship the snake should be punished as well. Mr. Liu has earned their trust and goes to speak with the doctor. He is disappointed when the doctor explains that poison will not kill the mythical snake like he had planned. Moments later, he is informed that a batch of blood had been taken from the facility in Bai village. He is infuriated, explaining that if the plague spreads at the fortress, then it will be obvious that the blood is contaminated, but he notices the spy device and stops talking. However, it's too late. Mofan understands that Mr. Liu is behind it all and now just needs to find the true origins of the poison. Ling Ling explains that the appearance of the first infected was the same day that the eagles left their nest, and Mofan seems to have discovered something. He believes that whatever the demonic birds are targeting must be the cause of the plague. Elsewhere, Zhang is shocked to find that a soldier has contracted the illness, just as Mofan arrives. Zhang comforts the man by explaining that he might have just been bitten by a rat. Ling Ling wants him to explain further, and he says that he had similar symptoms after being bitten by a poisonous rat. However, after Huey brought him some yin grass, he was able to recover. Mofan thinks the rat might be the answer to all their problems, and they head out to find one, leaving the poor man pleading for them to bring him back some medicine. They must wait for the rat to reveal itself since it's sensitive to movement, and the two discuss how they think humans and beasts should be protecting each other, not fighting. As they wait, Zhang can only hope that Huey is doing okay. Seemingly forgetting what they just talked about, Mofan attacks the rat when it appears. Its attempt to escape fails, and it's captured. Ling Ling finds that the rat's blood is indeed the cause of the illness, and Mofan was correct. The rats are the most beloved food of the white demon eagles, and their blood is what attracted them to the fortress. Everything is becoming clear, but they still don't have enough evidence to bring down a member of the council. However, what Mofan cares about more is that they saved the snake, and they definitely have enough information to prove its innocence. Ling Ling's sister has already left to explain everything, but Mofan wants to start thinking about an antidote and asks where to find yin grass. Nearby, Ling Ling's sister explains that people catch poisonous rats to create fake blood potions for money, and it's actually what has caused the plague. Mr. Liu explains that the eagles have started their attack again and should focus on that. However, Zhuang is surprised to hear that the rat's blood is also the reason for the attack, and asks if Mr. Liu is hiding something from him. Just then, they are informed that Supervisor Wang Yi has committed suicide, and a letter he left reveals that the rat blood was all his idea. Mofan decides that it's time for him to head back to Miss Tang, but explains that Zhang must be the one to solve the problem with the demonic eagles. The two barge into the meeting, explaining that they know how to get an antidote, and curing the plague will likely stop the bird's attack. However, Mr. Liu explains that the yin grass is located in the heart of the demonic bird's nest, and a whole team of their most powerful mages would not make it in alive. The lieutenant is feeling pretty good though, since he has a solution. Their tame celestial beasts are of the same species as demonic ones, and they will not attack each other. They can just send one to retrieve the herb for them. However, he must be reminded that they killed other celestial birds after he gave them the order to. This is Zhang's moment to shine though, since after disobeying orders, he kept his trusted Huey alive. They are concerned that his eagle will rebel just like the others did, but he reveals that Huey is a half-breed and is not affected by the other eagles. Furthermore, it won't hurt him since he doesn't tame the beast, it's just his friend. It is clear that the mythical snake is innocent, so Zumeng agrees to release it. Mofang goes to Miss Tang, who explains that the snake has been freed but is dying because it has lost so much blood. It needs a lot of it, and Mofang comes up with the idea to give it the blood that is poisoned. It won't have any ill effects since it's immune, and Miss Tang thinks it's a great idea. Elsewhere, Zhang plays music on his leaf to bring his trusty Huey back. Zhang explains that their mission is dangerous and failure means they might die, but it's something they must do. He asks if Huey is willing to go with him. The eagle shows that it's just as determined as he is, and the two step forth on their mission. Thanks for watching part 19. If this video gets 1 like, I'll know you want me to make the final part.